What's going on, guys? Dan back with the Regular Guy Garage. You may ask, what am I doing? I'm not in my normal element right here. I'm in the other side of my garage. And I came home today with a bunch of goodies, something I haven't done in a very long time. I've only done it once really in my life when I was 18, is welding. So if you guys don't know from the last video, I was gonna get the subframe connectors welded onto my Mustang project. But the guy that was supposed to do it, he was busy, busy time of year for him or whatever, no big deal. Then I was deciding that I was going to do the job myself. And then, so I was someone, a bunch of people recommended, plus I've been doing a whole bunch of research. Just go to Harbor Freight, get you one of those cheap welders from Harbor Freight. It'll be more than enough to do the job. And like always, I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I could do it. But then I always have that kind of thought in my head, like, if so-and-so can do it, I could definitely do it. So my neighbor's revving up his 454. So anyway, I went to Harbor Freight, picked up a welder over there, and let me show you the first bead of weld. Pretty much the second bead of weld I've ever put down in my life, but the first bead of weld I've at least put down in 18 years. All right, guys, so all I did was pick up one of these little cheap, Flux 125 welders from Harbor Freight. It was 200 bucks. Super small, compact, absolutely perfect for what I'm going to need it for. Don't mind my kind of janky little setup here. I just wanted to get a couple pieces in practice. But this over here, this was me kind of like messing around with the welder, trying to get the settings right, speeds right. I had to make some adjustments over there, had the wire too tight. And then when I was all set, I laid this bead right here. So, a little bit of slag and stuff thrown around, but as far as a bead of weld, like I said, this is the second bead I've ever laid in my entire life. And, I think it came out okay, It doesn't look like perfectly stacked dimes. If you are a welder, hey, tell me what this weld looks like. Am I, too hot, too cold, too fast, too slow, whatever it is, let me know. But basically all I've been trying to do is I take the welder, I kind of work it in small circles, and then I really just try and keep the same speed. Right here, I think, my arm kind of actually came up and then back down, but I try to work it nice and slow, just circles all the way down, and that's what I ended up with. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to clean off, ooh, that's pretty hot. I'm going to clean off this area right here a little bit, and then try and get a nice bead right there. We'll see what I can come up with. Not bad. That's a little better. That's a lot thicker. It's kind of tough for me. The way that I move, especially kind of just this weird awkward position, which is actually not a bad idea to practice because I'm going to be laying under the car when I do it. But there you go. That's the second bead right there. I tried to go a little slower, made sure I filled each little section up. My finger slipped kind of right there, but yeah, not bad. First bead, second bead. I honestly think with those two practices right there, I'm ready to prep the car. I've got it jacked up. The way that I'm gonna prep it is, I've got the car jacked up. One of the subframes is right there, and I overfilled the transmission by accident, so we're leaking a little out. And so basically, I marked off the section where the subframe goes to. I'm just gonna get my wire wheel, wire this completely off. I'm gonna have to move these fuel lines. I also have like a little shield to block these, so I'm not spitting slag or anything. This is fuel in here, so I'm definitely not trying to blow anything up, especially myself. So I'm gonna move these out of the way, get the subframes mocked up, hit these in, and then we'll do the other side. I'd probably actually do the other side first, but let me go ahead and set up, and then we'll start welding. All right, guys, so I'm going to start on the driver's side. Got the driver's side subframe connector out. Just cleaning it off. Before I do anything, I need to change these bolts in the seat right here, and they are going to be switched to the ones that come with the subframe connectors. All right, so it was kind of hard for me to film that part, but what I did was I just took my wire wheel and I cleaned all this stuff up underneath. And I'm gonna do a couple welds. I'm gonna do a 2-inch weld here, 2-inch weld up here, and then just trust that I got the back cleaned up too. Here's the new bolts. What I'm gonna do now, spray paint these so they don't rust, except for the spots that I'm gonna be welding. And then we'll go ahead and get them welded up in. So just to kind of show what the welds look like here on the car, I mean, not the prettiest in the world, but to be honest, as long as they hold, I really don't care what they look like because I'm going to be spray painting over them anyway. So it took me a minute to get like the heat and stuff right. I did go through the frame on one little part, but I'm just going to fill that hole really quick. Overall, not too terrible. I'm going to finish up here and then paint the rest of these subframes down and get the car back on the ground and move on to the next project. All right, guys, so I got the welding all done. I'm kind of embarrassed of how it looks, but nobody's gonna see it. I kind of use an old adage that I learned when I was working on a tugboat with tying knots. If you can't tie a knot, tie a lot. So, I mean, like some spots where the weld just got thin, I just piled a whole bunch of weld on top of it, and let me just show you what they look like. And then being that I'm right-handed, I was a little bit better welding on this side, I think. I still think they look pretty ugly, but I mean, aside from the fact that this is the first time I've ever really welded anything, the last time I welded, I was 18 years old, and it was kind of just like, hey, place a tack here and there. So this is my first time actually welding. Plus, it's a super awkward position. I'm laying on the ground doing it. So, you know, sitting up is not so bad, but laying on the ground, much harder. But you know what? This is kind of just what I want to do with this car. You know, I want to do all the work. I want to see, you know, if the welds break off, whatever, man, I'll fix them. But you know what? Whatever. I mean, it's a project car. I'm having fun with it. The welder, you know, I got it from Harbor Freight. It was like $200. And I could, you know, if I'm sitting down or in a comfortable position, I guarantee I could weld something, you know, super simple. Anyway, guys, where I'm going to go from here, so the dyno's gonna have to wait because the shop that I use, they have a, you know, small outbreak of coronavirus. So hopefully, you know, the tune and stuff can wait. Hopefully they'll get better and then we can just get the car on the dyno some other time. But now that I got these subframe connectors on, I also took apart a couple things here in the engine bay. I took the battery back out and then the fan back out. I didn't want to use that fan, plus it was kind of running a little bit warmer than I would have liked, so I got an electric fan on the way. I'm gonna more than likely relocate the battery. I think, we'll see, I might just throw it back in. But I know this Thursday they have a track night coming up. It'll only be an 1/8 mile track, but I'm gonna try and get down there and run that. So we'll see. Hopefully next video is me down the track with this thing. Anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Check out the playlist for this build. I got a lot more on the way. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't follow me on Instagram, @regularguygarage. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.